Good evening, everybody. I grew up in church, so like usually when people say something, they kind of say it right. So I'm gonna try it one more time. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. All right, cool. Sounds good. My name is Joshua Slack, and you are here with the ArteVism Fellowship Grand Finale. So let's just do a round of applause real quick for the ArteVism team. I'm the ArteVism Fellow of this fellowship, and I'm also joined by our program coordinator and our program coordinator assistant. We have Minerva, we have Mirna, she's right here, we have Estella, we have Gina, we have Shane, we have Natalie, we have the whole team. They're all going to introduce themselves if they haven't already as well. But we are just very excited to be here, very excited to see everybody's faces tonight, and we have something special that we have been developing to present you all with this evening. But without further ado, we're going to have Shane Lara, who is one of the ArteVism interns, to deliver the land acknowledgement. So, thank you, Shane. He comes over.
Kuha Tesha, Kambaki Ha Shane, which means hello, everybody. My name is Shane, and I want to read our land acknowledgement for today. And it goes, Pan Valley Institute recognizes that it sits on the ancestral home of the Yokuts and Mono people who have been stewards of the land since time immemorial, to whom we extend our utmost respect and gratitude. We take into account that acknowledgement is only the first steps toward justice and reconciliation from settler colonialism as we continue to honor the tribes who were here first. The next steps require us to continue making spaces for all indigenous people all over Turtle Island to hear their stories and perspectives. We must also acknowledge the genocide as well as indigenous erasure that has occurred and continues to occur in the United States, to never shy away from talking about the difficult parts of our history in order to create a better future. Thank you.
Thank you, Shane. And so, we are, like I mentioned before, the ArteVism Fellowship. And so the ArteVism Fellowship program seeks to build community capacity, empowering and fostering civic engagement through creative and artistic expression and collective leadership among California's Central Valley youth of color. This program expands opportunities to undeserved youth to express their creative and artistic visions by producing provocative programming that engages the community and paves the way for a more democratic and equitable region. And so tonight is a culmination and an exploration and experience. Well, it isn't like, yeah, I got my words mixed up. You understand what I'm trying to say. So this is a testament to that work and to what this cohort has really been striving to achieve since November of 2023 to right here, July 13th, 2024. And so the work that we have done and produced, you actually are able to see a glimpse of that. We have our photo display right over here, which has our time going through different murals and community events and community visits. We've done things as far as gone to visit Merced, Lemoore, Madera, even we took a trip to Oakland. We have a residential gathering in Wonder Valley. So we are kind of all over the nation. So, not the nation, not yet, but all over the state. And we have done things such as have different platicas, which are roundtable discussions, such as talking about migration and displacement within the communities of people that are African American, people that are Native, Hmong, Latinx, so many different backgrounds and how that affects us. And we have done quite a bit of work. Honestly, I'm trying to think of everything that we did because this year was pretty stacked. We also took time to pay homage and to our respect and prayers for a candlelight vigil in Madera when it came down to farm workers that had lost their life earlier this year. And we've just really have done a lot as far as making our mark and known within the community of the Central Valley as well as California at large. And Shane, did you have anything that you wanted to share about your experience?
Yeah, I would say that my experience with Pan Valley has been very positive. I really love the idea of activism through the arts. And it meant a lot because, like me coming in, a lot of Native American voices are very marginalized and we often do not hear that perspective. And so I wanted to be that person to kind of like open up the door for more indigenous voices. So Pan Valley was able to give me a lot of opportunity to speak from my perspective and my stories when I was talking about displacement. As I'm a member of the Natchitoches tribe of Louisiana, but my family was very displaced, and they end up coming to Visalia, California, to get away from the racism and also better opportunities. And so I got to share that story and help people understand the complexity of like what indigenous voices are. I got to share that there are 574 federally recognized tribes all over the nations, 65 state recognized, 400 plus unrecognized, and we're not even mentioning the ones in Canada and South America as well. So a lot of people don't really like know our history, and they don't really like understand the complexities, and is usually subject to a lot of stereotypes. So in a lot of these roundtable discussions, I got to share my voice, I got to do presentations, but I also got to share my skills in spoken word poetry as well. So it's like I was given an outlet really just to share like a piece of like who I was, and I was able to share that with my community to let them know that there is somebody out there representing them in different spaces, not just strictly Native spaces, but spaces outside where I could like talk with different communities and help them understand our struggle a little bit better, so we have more understanding in our future as Indigenous people. So it was very rewarding, and also I got to bond with my other internship friends as well. We got to travel together, we got to share stories, and we got to know a little bit about each other like through these discussions and through all these operations that we were setting up. So it was a bonding experience for sure, and it was built out of like ArteVism, built out of like that desire for justice, but also built out of love for each other. So it was amazing.
Yeah. And Shane, like he mentioned, is an amazing spoken word artist. We are going to hear from him a little bit later on today, so you all are in for a treat. I myself, I am a theater artist, actor, director, and writer, which you will be able to see some of that tonight as well. And so, like Shane had mentioned, just being able to blend art and activism, especially in the Central Valley, is always a gift and a blessing. And the Central Valley, I feel, we already know our worth out here, like when it comes down to the arts, but I feel that it has a history of being a little bit, underrated, a little overlooked. Like, people look to the bigger cities when it comes down to that, but the Central Valley, we got something to say. And we really have been doing, really a lot of work, and I'm very happy with just the work that we've been able to do with Pan Valley. We also have our other interns, Natalie and Chinu, who Natalie is over here, and she's actually over right by our gift section. So if you want to get a nice little goodie bag, you can go over there, spin the wheel. We got some nice treats over there, but wait till the end of the night if you want to go ahead and do that. And Chinu was not able to make it tonight, but they are a movement and somatics professional, and very, very beautiful work that they do, are able to contribute to the community. Natalie and Chinu are both from Merced, and they do a lot of work out in that region as well when it comes down to the different activism, fighting for marginalized people's rights and things of that nature. And so their work and their artistic capabilities cannot be understated or overlooked as well. And yeah, I think that is it as far as our introduction when it comes down to the ArteVism team and the ArteVism program in this cohort. And it's actually quite beautiful that we have everybody here to experience this finale with us and about the work that we are able to culminate and do. And so we are about to be really honored with a musical selection by Ruben Hurtado, and I just blanked your name. I am so sorry. Lauren. And so they're about to disgrace us with their presence with music. So please give them their undivided attention and a round of applause.
All right, good evening. Anyway, my name is Ruben Hurtado. This is Lauren Parisi, and we play down the street actually once a month at Vinny Vici's. Very good food, excellent drinks, great atmosphere. That's just letting you know. Anyway, we do a little Cuban thing, so that's what we do. So kind of specialize on that. So thank you for having us here, huh? Really appreciate it. And I'd like to say hello to Gloria out there and her husband. One time I stayed at their place, treated me very nice. Really appreciate that. Anyway, we play Cuban music, and we have an actual band, but for tonight, we got them in a package, and we're doing our thing here. Not that. This one's called the Peanut Vendor, El Manicero. I don't know what that is. Anyway, that was a pinta vendor. Anyway, the peanut vendor is, le dicen el manicero, ¿verdad? Porque, you know how they go out and well, in a lot of parts of the world, they're selling fruits outside. But they always got a little rhythm, not a rhythm, but how would I say it? Like a little song that whatever they're singing. In this case, they're selling peanuts, right? So, ya llegó el manicero, ya llegó, something like that. So that's the story behind that song, and it's probably one of the top songs that Cuba is known by. El Manicero, Guantanamera, as far as popular music. So anyway, that's a little thing on Cuban music. I hope you guys are enjoying this. So again, kind of really like Cuban music. I also like Mexican music. I like all kinds of music, right? As long as it's played well. But this next song is called, and you guys are welcome if you guys want to dance a little bit. It's called Pa Bailar. Anyway, and it's kind of it was a pop tune back in the day. And now it's oldie but goodie, but I play it. Now it's out the other give a little short intermission. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Woo. Now I need to go over to Cuba. You know how that goes. So now, can I be real with y'all for a second? Can I be real with y'all for a minute? Yeah. My life has been nothing but standing in crooked rooms, trying to accommodate the comfortability of those that don't look like me. My life has been dictated by another skin color that is not mine, you know? Like you ever feel like that? You ever feel like you walk into somewhere and when you don't see people that look like you, all of a sudden stand up straight, talk very more eloquently. You smile. Be as least offensive, and least you as much as possible. Y'all know what that's called? Code switching. You know, I don't know, have you ever had to code switch? Have you ever had to code switch, you know, like walk into like, you know, a job interview and you say, all right, I can't be my real self, I have to be my professional self. I have to be my public self. I have to be my fake self. I have to be my fake self, my fake self. Why? You ever wonder why? You ever feel that tension in your back that you just carry the weight of the world on your shoulders all day? Well, guess what? I'm a black man, so I do it every day. My entire life, my entire existence has been nothing more than a performance. This stage right here, this is my life. This stage right here, this is my prison. I don't think y'all understand. All my life, I had to code switch. All my life, wait a minute, wait. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Joshua Slack. I was born in Bethesda, Maryland, 1995. I lived on the East Coast. I was a military kid. So I have a bit of a unique experience when it comes down to, you know, just how race is perceived in America. You know, I go from place to place to see how it goes in difference from race to race, how I'm perceived, you know? So, growing up on the East Coast, lived in Chocolate City, Washington, D.C. I was fine out there. I was fine. I also was a baby, so I didn't really care. New Jersey, everything was fine. 2 years old, didn't even see anything, but I wondered, why are there others that are looking like me? And why are there others that are not looking like me? Moved to Virginia, 4 to 10 years old. Started to understand the world a little bit different, started to understand just how things worked around here. I think that I get it, okay, we have a history of slavery, okay, I guess I'm like my ancestors were brought over here from Africa, okay, and now we're here and things are okay. Martin Luther King solved the whole thing, right? Yeah, I think I get it. And then I moved out here to the Central Valley. And I felt the heat, literally, felt the heat. I felt the heat of being watched over by teachers that didn't know how it was and how it was that I had my hair this way. Didn't know how it was that I wore the clothes I wore, the way I spoke, and at the same time was still intelligent enough to get up into a grade level above where I was supposed to be at. So much so I had to dumb myself down to make my other counterparts in the class feel comfortable. So much so I had to dumb myself down to make the teachers and make everybody else around me to see me as that's what I'm supposed to be. That I'm supposed to be less than. That I'm supposed to not be human. That I am supposed to just code switch, you know? Every single day. Every single day. And then it started to fit a little weird, started to fit a little different, a little, you know, like, okay, so I guess I should walk this way. I guess I should look people in the eye. I guess I should do that. Okay, this is what manners are, right? But then it became suffocating. Suffocating. You know, they say I can't breathe. Aaron Garner said I can't breathe, and I felt that. Suffocated and it killed me, and I felt that. I was 10 years old when we moved out here, and I was also 10 years old when I was walking with my mom in Target. realizing that I could not be in that Target anymore because I decided that I wanted to keep my ears warm, my head warm by putting on a hoodie. That I was walking, minding my business, looking for Pokemon cards, looking for Yu-Gi-Oh cards, all the great things. And I had a shadow walking behind me, a shadow following me, a shadow that saw me as a threat, a shadow that saw me as a target, a shadow that was about to put me in handcuffs if I acted any kind of way. I didn't know. My mom pulled me to the side and said, "Boy, do you know what was happening while you were in there? No longer can you wear that hoodie. No longer can you dress the way that you do. You are 10 years old and you are a man. Not only are you a man, you are a target. Do you understand me?" And I didn't. I didn't understand. I didn't understand this world that I had to live in, this world where I can no longer be myself, this world where I was 10 years old and I was already seen as a grown man in the eyes of strangers. I didn't know that. I had no idea. So yeah, I had to go ahead and live with this bottle of rage and anxiety that I could no longer express myself. It was either be warm and dead or be cold and survive in the winter. It was either wear nice fitted clothes or wear something loose and baggy if I wanted to just be comfortable, or die. Everything was life or death from that moment. Get your grades up or you go to jail. Get your grades up or you get shot in the street. They will build a prison based off your test score, son. And you can no longer act like these other niggas around here. That's no longer you. You need to code switch. So I got good at it. I got good. It helped me out. You know, I decided to join the drama club, get my acting skills together, and that's why I'm here on this day. You know, shout out to the drama club in Moore High School. I decided that, okay, well, maybe I can be a little less threatening if I was a choir kid as well. So I joined the show choir. I was able to do that. Also, I didn't have the athletic capabilities to do basketball, so I kind of showed my ass when I did that. But, you know, I recognized that all of the arts that I was participating in was helping me disguise myself and craft up this character of Joshua that I had no longer recognized. That it crafted up this persona of somebody that I did not like. This persona of the acceptable Negro. This persona of the magical Negro. This persona of so many things that make me appear safe, that make me appear alive. When internally I'm not feeling any of that, you know? So let me ask you this. When you are code switching, how much of yourself are you denying? You know, how much of yourself are you continuing to push down and down and down and down just to make other people feel comfortable? Just to not die? How much of yourself are you killing in order for you to survive? I can no longer do this. I can't. I can no longer do this. I cannot. It shouldn't be the fact that I have to walk into a job interview and pray that I'm not threatening them right then. It shouldn't have to be the fact that when my daughter is born, I have to pray I have somebody that looks like me, or else her life expectancy goes down and she's already deemed as a black woman in America. It shouldn't have to be that I have to pray day and night that somebody just looks at me and says, "You know what, you're worth living. You're worth living, boy. Boy. I thought you saw me as a man. I thought you saw, I'm so confused. Every time I'm in this crooked room, every time I'm just trying to walk and navigate, it turns around and I can't stand up straight. Every time you put me in a box, you shake it up just so that I can be even more confused. Just so I can be even more dizzy. Just so I can just continue and continue to code switch. Why on earth would I live like this? Why on earth are you all living like this? Why on earth are you ashamed of being who you are because other people might not like it? Why is it that we continue to just walk this path that is designed for us, but not by us? What's up? So let me ask you this question. If you were to walk out right now and see somebody that you might perceive is perceiving you as a threat, how do you walk? How do you talk? How do you code switch? Because let me tell you one thing. This code switching shit is done. Here and now. Today is the day I'm no longer making anybody feel comfortable with my existence. I am no longer making anybody feel comfortable for the fact that I can just, be taller than them, be blacker than them, be louder than them. I can't do this no more. And it's killing me. And don't let it kill you too. Don't let the code switching kill you too. Thank you. All right. Thank you. That is Code Switch is an ongoing piece that I was able to develop back in the ArteVism cohort of 2021 going into 2022. It was a solo show that I had written the day my daughter was born in the hospital while she was in the NICU. So it has some history. And each time I perform it, I decided to switch it up and change it a little bit differently to make it an ongoing conversation about what it is that we are going on through. And so thank you for being a witness for the latest iteration. And so now we are going to move on into the next part of our program, which we are going to be blessed by poems. So first up, we're going to have our own Shane Lara as he's going to deliver some lyrical medicine. All
right, how we doing so far? Good? Okay. Before I get started, I just want to shout out a couple people that really came here in solidarity and support of me, and as well as the event. First, I want to shout out a lot of my professors. One of my English professors from Fresno City, Kristen Norton. I also have two of my professors from Fresno State, which is Matthew Gendian and Michael McDaniel. So it's like when I was going through this program and I was trying to get more educated, I was learning a lot from them. I was learning about genocide. I was learning about American Indian literature, learning about other artists that I never heard of, like Leslie Marmon Silko and M. Scott Momadity. I was also getting a lot of opportunities to do spoken word and work with the youth at the Juvenile Justice Campus. So when we talk about land acknowledgements, oftentimes for Native people, we get suspicious because we feel like it's performative. We feel like people just say that and that's a Band-Aid that fixes everything. But with my professors that I have here today, it's like I don't have to worry about that because they opened a lot of doors and a lot of opportunity for me to share my story and share my art. And that is another step you can do after a land acknowledgement, because land acknowledgement is only the first step. And there are many more steps that need to be had, and everybody can do it in their own way. So let's give a hand for our educators for being one of the backbones of our community too. And so very quickly, I just want to shout out my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, and my wife are also here, to support me. They've supported me since the very beginning. They're from the Pascua Yaqui Nation, and so when I first started reconnecting as an indigenous person, it's like I learned their tribal culture first before I found mine. So it means a lot that a lot of the tribes around here took me in to teach me. So this poem that I'm going to read is called Who Shot Me? And so when we're dealing with a lot of anger, dealing with a lot of trauma, sometimes we don't realize how far it goes. Sometimes it's like we don't really think about our family beyond our grandfather, or maybe we think about our great-grandfather, but we don't really think back that much further. So when I started reconnecting and I did my research, I started learning about a lot of the people who came before me. And I went so far back in my tree that I got all the way to the year 1680. And in 1680, there was a woman born, and her name was Angelique Hassani from the Caddo Hassani Nation. And so we don't know if Angelique is her real name because our people did not have written records. It was very disrupted during the colonization process, and that's why we lost so many records. But she was known as a person who built bridges. She was an interpreter for my tribe who translated between her people, the French, and the Spanish. So she could speak Caddo, French, and Spanish. And so I often wonder, what was it like speaking 3 languages? What was it like having that responsibility to bridge so many worlds and bridging some of the most powerful empires at that time period? But at that same time, with colonization and smallpox going on, she never, ever used that to be a cruel person. She was known for her kindness. In every account that the Spanish and the French talked about her, they called her the Little Angel. That was her nickname. And she helped rescue a French sailor who crashed off the coast in Louisiana, Galveston Bay. And she had some warriors, Natchitoches warriors, save him and then she helped him recover for 2 months in her home. And then when he wanted to return to a French settlement, she sent her daughters to take him to the nearest French settlement. And so I often wonder how much of that blood and how much of that history lives through me today. And I'm a reconnecting Native person, so I'm 25 now, and I didn't reconnect till I was 20. And not every tribe has a reservation. Some of us fell between the cracks in American society. And a lot of us didn't want to say that we were Native American because we could get killed for that. A lot of us were displaced for that. A lot of us, were even lynched. There was lynchings in LA, like even in Mexico, a lot of indigenous tribes were being lynched. So by the time most of us grew up, it's like we were born assimilated and we had no clue where we came from. But I know now that's going to change because a lot of people are starting to wake up, and a lot of people like me that want to reconnect and know our real history. So I wrote this poem, and I hope you guys enjoy it. And it goes, I lived the life of a detribalized man gutted by broken treaties and still borders. I soon learned that assimilation wasn't a suggestion, but an order. I find my broken language, my broken culture, my broken people that I try to repair, because for my people, the American dream became the American nightmare. The more I relearn, the more the past begins to shock me. I listened to Biggie's Ready to Die album and I started to wonder who shot me. I said, Mom, the crisis of identity is fucking with my head. Who shot me? Who filled me with lead? My elders tell me to breathe and be patient, but I've been riddled by more than one unknown assailant. Playing indoctrinated jams, god damn, I don't know who I am. Why is my will to live so strained? They take my suffering and say all I do is complain. My mother Angela would comfort and visit me, and she says it was the toxic masculinity in your vicinity. But where does this come from? This ideology must have an inspiration. My other mother, Audrika, told me that this trauma was generational. While Angela gave me the source of my remorse, Audrika gave me the cause, told me about how our indigenous people faced oppressive laws, that were formed out of hate, that we didn't receive religious freedom until 1978, that the boarding schools left our identity in such confusion that we were still savages in the eyes of the Declaration and Constitution. So who shot me? Who made the bullet spray? It was a racist government who hung our people like ornaments on display. It was my family members who were raised in a terrible system who never thought they lost their way. It was the preachers who thought we were evil, telling us to drop our regalia, telling us to pray. Now I'm a product of an unsatisfied customer and a desperate seller, but I choose to be better, to be a being of light instead of a being of darkness. That is why I must use my tongue with such sharpness. Since colonialism has not forgot me, foreign powers who shot me, assimilationists who shot me, the mailmen in my life who shot me. But I take your pains and I'll be abrasive, because my beaded necklace helps me see my fellow natives in this concrete jungle where I have constantly stumbled. No matter if your culture is lost or still indigenous, whether you have Choctaw, Mixtep, or Ojibwe in your blood, please let your message flood like a wave. Sound the siren as bullets are removed from my body when the sun sets on the horizon, feeling the love of all tribes all over Turtle Island. My ancestors tell me that you can trust us. So instead of vengeance, I'm now pursuing justice. Thank you. All right, so I want to bring up another poet who I also wanted to do a few readings too. So he's going to do two poems, and I just want to introduce him because he's a very huge part in the poetry community. He's from Visalia. He is the founder of Loudmouth Poetry Jam, where they have poetry jams about once or twice a month. Correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, so it's like if it wasn't for him starting up that scene 12 years ago, it's like I wouldn't have a space to share these poems and to share my art. So he is also doing the next part after land acknowledgement, which is making space for indigenous people, and that space was open for me. So when I competed for the first time in his venue, I had no idea what slam poetry was, but I got first place, and he says, you know, Shane, you know what we're gonna do now? We're gonna send you to Florida to compete at the national level. And I'm like, hey, yo, I didn't know that. So because of him, I was able to go nationally, I was able to compete in competitions, and I was making money for the first time off of my art, in which people would tell me you can't make money as an artist. And one of the biggest checks I ever received was $1,200 for one of my performances. So it's a good little side hustle that I got going on. So, a big round of applause for the one and only, and he should be Poet Laureate of Visalia, they need to set that up, Michael Hasso. I know that poet.
You know that poet. Well, I want to give another shout out and thank you to Shane for inviting me to be with you all today and to take up space and to share some work with y'all. And when I was talking with Shane about what sort of theme or what the direction I should take with my reading. I was told the theme is just to explore what my America means to me. And as far as I know, I've lived my whole life in the Central Valley, and I've grown up in Visalia, born and raised, and so my America is this area. This is our region, and this is, I think, a very important part of the way I grew up and the way that I developed as a writer. And with the poems I do, I think it's important to note that I love my city, I love my community, I love being from the Central Valley. I love this area so, so much that I always wanted to be better and always have something to say about it. So with this first poem, I think it's very fitting that we just had Independence Day, because this poem is called 4th of July. It's the 4th of July. We wear star-spangled t-shirts from the Old Navy store, bedazzled crosses from the Dollar Tree, and ignite the sky with Mexican fireworks. We bump California Love at the summer block parties, drive our lifted trucks to our 9 to 5s, and stack our plates with more than we could afford any other weekend. We call this place a home. It's a long drive past the walnut orchards, a desert hiding within the Garden of Eden. Our sun doesn't take too kindly to strangers. Upon entry, she may be your judge, your jury, in the summer, your executioner. We just call it a vibe, so check it. We recite the Lord's Prayer in the morning and have the station tuned in at E40 by happy hour. We may be country, backwater, but here in the Central Valley, the hustle has become a universal language that speaks in a different dialect. Let me tell you about how I know a guy who can fix your car, be your weed plug, and drives DoorDash for tax reasons. We were taught to grind in this town because it doesn't let its people thrive. Let me show you how even in the desert, you can still find crabs in a barrel, how we have turned apathy into a natural resource, into our national pastime, a family tradition. Teach you how much in this valley we have become so full of sunburn and venom that we swallow our own medicine and claim we enjoy it. In the valley, we consume smog. A deep breath in and exhale a far worse toxin. We wake up choosing violence as our Monday motivation, like the sun in our eyes, a thorn in our ass. The only end this town will offer you will be your own skeleton, bleached from the heat. At least in this town, we will offer you a clean corpse. It is now July 5th. We wake up, still hungover, wearing our Old Navy flag shirts, eat cold hot dogs from last night for breakfast. We take a cold shower as our first baptism of the day, rinse, recycle, repeat. The decorations get stored away for next year. Perhaps tradition has just become a way of saying of how afraid we have become of change, how we metamorph that fear into our anger management courses. Maybe it is just ironic that we are all just a bunch of short fuses playing with fireworks. Again, this is a home. We may be getting blisters from our weather forecast, but at least we keep the AC running. At least we have a game to catch after Bible study brunch. At least we have a back road from the bar to get us home safe. Our roots run deep in a town that lives and dies by the dirt. The hustle has now learned to speak in tongues. Between what we pull from our harvest, we too shall return as bodies for our soil. How else do you imagine that we became the raising capital of the world? Our children will learn to carry that chip on their shoulder proudly, practicing their escape route through scholarship, through sport, learning that once the summer is over, the harvesters come for them. Learning how to give themselves permission to break ground, uproot, leave. Another deep breath in, lungs now full of smoke. We breathe fire onto our crops, plant our bleached bones again with the ashes, and grow again. So I have one more poem for y'all. I I brought some merch with me, so I am a full-time artist, so doing events like this, touring. I just got back from a 2-week trip that took me out to Salt Lake City for the Utah Arts Festival, came straight back and went up to Berkeley for a couple of days, and then taught workshops at the California Poets annual symposium in San Juan Bautista, so I'm very tired. And just like how Shane said that, poetry can open up opportunities for you. And for the first time in many years, I am actually living quite comfortably being a full-time poet. So if you would like to further support, I have 2 books available. I also have a collection of poetry that features not just my work, but work from our current Central Valley Slam team that went to represent our community in Salt Lake City and in Portland, Oregon this past summer. So come talk to me during the intermission or at the end of the event. I'd love to connect with you. So the next poem I'm going to do is actually out of my newest book, Burn After Reading, but I'm going to go ahead and read it off of my phone because I prefer doing that. As soon as it comes up. And my student asks, what the hell even is a chrysanthemum? The writing prompt on the board reads, what would you grow in your garden? See, when you teach poetry to the middle school students from Farmersville, you quickly learn that the majority of the class already knows about the dirt all too well. We start off by naming off different flowers, but instead I hear almonds, lemons, pomegranates, not daisies, not petunias, and no, certainly not chrysanthemums. My students have decided to gift me a cornucopia instead of a bouquet. By 7th grade, their fingers know the delicacy it takes to pull strawberries, already contain calluses from pistachio picking before correctly placing the Oxford comma. But no time for flowers here, only in harvest. I am speaking to children who already speak sonnet and soliloquy to the soil. The prompt again on the board reads, what would you grow in your garden? One student says that she would tear all of the trees out by their roots, slap concrete over the orchards her grandparents worked in. Another says and reminds me that he has never seen a chrysanthemum before, convinced himself that I am making the whole thing up. He asks, what fruit does it bear? How much does it cost? Mr. J, you need to tell me they are only supposed to look pretty? Does it pay rent? Does it put food on our table? Does it ask for immigration status? Does it threaten deportation? The prompt again reads, what would you grow in your garden? Yet my kids never seem to have time for flowers. The soil already takes priority in their homes. In this valley, our kids never learn to speak in garden, only in cropped tongues, in oranges for the winter, walnuts for the summer, and are left to inhale the dust and pesticide. Garden is a foreign concept. But my students know about foreign all too well. They have been taught the potential they carry in their calloused hands. Do not understand yet that the garden has only ever been a suggestion, that they are worth so much more than the produce they provide, more than another statistic for standardization, more than just the pretty petaled flowers we want them to write about. So if you do not want to be a garden, dig deeper into the earth. Uproot those orchards you are told you will return to. If you do not want to dig, become a spark. Ignite into a forest fire. Consume all that is rightfully yours. You never needed the chrysanthemum. You never needed for me to walk through that classroom door. You have already been master gardeners, forest fires, poets. What you choose to grow has already fed my soul. And all that I ask in return is that you never again ask for permission to blossom.
All right. How y'all enjoying the, man, give a round of applause for our poets. How y'all enjoying tonight? All right, that's cool, that's cool. All right, so now we are coming to our main event, which is My Relationship with America. There's a theatrical presentation written by Rodolfo Robles Cruz, who was the previous ArteVism Fellow. He's also a Fresno State graduate, and he's currently in UT Austin doing directing for theater out there. And so we are, this was a project that the ArteVism team has been working on since the beginning of the cohort. And it started out as a, it started out as what's known as an acto, which is a presentation done by, that was formed by Teatro Campesino, which was a theater group that went ahead and informed farmers of their voting, of the political landscape of the voting rights and things of that nature through the use of art and theater, things of that nature, in very more unorthodox ways. And Rodolfo, he used that as a framework to go ahead and develop this piece that we're about to present to you. However, as it evolved, more of our voices from the cohort added on to the piece. So myself, Shane, Natalie, and Chinu, we added our own experiences and things of that nature into the piece. And then, as we started to get actors, we started to also add in more of our own personal experience within the piece. And it became a living and breathing work of art because of that. And so this is a testament to the ArteVism Fellowship and a testament to what it is that we stand for when it comes down to ArteVism. So I'm gonna have my actors come up on the stage. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody in between, they and thems, non-binary people, we are going to say thank you. And here is My Relationship with America. I was asked today, what is your relationship with America?
It was a simple question. It was a simple question at first. It was my history professor who asked me. It was for an assignment she makes her class do. The assignment is meant to reconnect us to the beauty of the United States of America. So she asked me, what is your relationship with American
History. I thought about it for a moment. Then the moment became a while, and then I asked her, like my actual relationship with America? And she said, yes, of course. My relationship with American history is bad.
She got upset with me. I was asked to leave for refusing to participate in class. It slipped out, honestly. But it was honest. I didn't know if she wanted the truth or if she wanted a lie. But I've been lying for a while now. And I don't know how much longer I could keep
Lying. I just don't feel like I'm being listened to. I just don't feel like I am making an impact. I just don't feel like my voice matters. I just don't feel. I just don't feel. I just don't feel. I just don't feel. I can't feel anymore. I can't feel my skin. I can't feel my heart. I can't feel my soul. I can't feel my soul. I can't feel my soul. I can't feel my soul.
I am waiting to wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Wake up. Please, wake up.
I was 3 years old when I came to this country, quickly assimilating to the culture here. I was young enough to be a real American.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
I didn't know any better then. I would just show up and be me. Everyone else was like me too, you know? Of immigrant parents, of immigrant families. I forgot my language. Spanish. It ran away from me, from my mind. Others still know it. Some were never taught it. A survival tactic. A distraught and desperate attempt to help their children survive in this country.
I recognize that word.
Yeah?
Survive. You know, it's a shared word between us. It holds a hidden meaning only people like us can understand. So, you know, I have to survive too. And that's, you know, my mom, she wanted me to survive all the time, which is why she taught me, be nice, comply. Don't put your hand in any pocket.
Or they feel empowered to kill us.
Yep, disproportionately and horrifically.
Like the missing murdered indigenous women in my community, lost to a system that doesn't even work with us.
It works against us.
They're keeping the peace, they say.
They kill each other anyway, they say.
They're aggressive, mean, disrespectful.
We just gotta go about our day, man.
We just want to live in peace, man.
Now, I remember being a little bored. People are surprised when I say that, but I do. I remember all of it. For instance, Avocado Lake on Easter. You know, cracking confetti-filled eggs on the first head I saw. You know, hiding it discreetly behind my back. Coming up to someone real slow. Acting calm and collected. And BAM! Cracked that as hard as I could with color pin flying out. Calm and collected.
Shoot.
Keeping calm and collected. To hit someone's head.
And we cracked that shit hard as hell too.
Yeah. There were lessons in everything for us. Lessons on how to behave properly.
Lessons on how to remain calm and collected.
Pushtana. Dangerous. Control your anger.
Lessons that my dad told me. Déjale chillar, hombre. Los hombres no lloran. Stop crying. Be a real man.
Lessons, my mom would count down to 3 and say, boy, get your ass down here before I make you get a reason to cry about.
Lessons when my parents say, 绕对上海龙人道.
Wait, what's that mean?
Translate?
That means sit down and stop talking so much.
Hey, lessons that would save my life one day. But when the cops come to your neighborhood and instigate it, what then?
Pushtana. Dangerous. Control your anger.
Don't feel, or else.
Imagine your mom counting to 3.
Remain still and don't say anything. You go inside and you close the doors.
You remain calm and collected. You go inside and close the doors.
It's kids, man. We're fucking kids.
Were
you a good
student?
I was a good student. Because I wanted to do sports. And you can't do sports if you're not a good student.
Rude. Yeah.
This was my way up and out. Because we were poor.
Wow.
And I don't mean like middle class poor, I mean we were truly poor. But what can you expect? My parents were field workers. And my mom worked in a factory seasonally as well. But it was all considered unskilled labor.
So,
She would work this factory job, right? Where she would bottle the strawberry juice. But, you know, hours on hours she would do this. From 6 p.m. till 2 in the morning. She left for work every evening in uniform. A stark white uniform. From head to toe in all white. And she would come back with splatters of strawberry juice all over her body. It always seemed like whimsical and fun, like you're painting your outfit like every single day. One day, at work, the machine was damp. The machine that poured out the juice that she would fill. And in this instance, she was one to go fix it. But something went wrong, and her hand was caught and cut open. Yeah, I remember her coming home that night. Coming home because the hospital bill would be too much. And suddenly I couldn't tell which stains were strawberry juice and which ones were her blood.
States of capitalism.
Work to no end. Work to death.
shit. You know, I was a good student when the topics made sense to me. Shit. I don't think the teachers understood that their point of view was never my own. Never. Shit. I never saw myself in one of them. So why is the faculty all white in a brown city? Right?
Why?
Why are our presidents white in a brown country?
I mean, like, yo, technically, this country, it is white, so, you know.
Technically, this country was stolen and it was never white until it was taken.
All right, yeah.
Well, you know, are the presidents representing me though?
All right, man, does presidential representation even matter? I mean, we had Jerome Obama.
Yeah, visually.
Oh, well, then in that case, who would you have as president right now?
Me.
You?
Yeah.
You?
I mean, like, all right.
Okay. Well, according to the U.S. Constitution, you need to be an American citizen. You need to live in this country for about 14 years. And you need to be at least 35 years of age. Wait a second. Why do we ever have a Native American president? Don't we outrank them when it comes to that? Don't we have seniority? Weren't we like the First Nations? Man, just imagine that. An indigenous person in the White House. White House. House itself is racist.
In 1972, Patsy Mink appeared on the Oregon presidential ballot. She was the first Asian woman to do so. You know, she came on the ballot to give her opposition to the Vietnam War. Right? I always wonder, in a universe where Patsy Mink, she ran and she won, what would that look like? I want to be like Patsy Mink.
Oh, you must really want to be president, huh?
Y'all ready to do this presentation?
Hey, come on.
Wait,
Really?
no,
No.
someone has to go first.
Huh?
Who's starting?
No, well, not me. Shoot.
All right. How about we pick a number between 1 and 100?
Okay. Yeah, all right, yep, that makes sense. All right, yeah, I'm good.
All right, done.
All right.
Okay.
Wait, who chooses the number?
Me, of
Oh,
course.
hold on. No.
What?
That's cheating. Nah, we ain't doing that.
Wait a minute. How?
Well, you're supposed to be in this, so you're just gonna choose the right number? No. That don't make no sense, bro.
No, stupid. The person who took the right number go first. I wouldn't pick
No,
that one.
you're not getting a point. Okay, you knowing and us not knowing, that's what makes it cheating.
All right. So then, why do we do this?
Mr. President, he wants to go on. Yeah, go.
Okay, fine. I'll go first. My relationship with America. Okay, well, I guess it started in 1980. That's when my parents first came to the United States. So my relationship with American history is new. But I mean, as an Asian American, it's old. I mean, and complicated, right? Because, okay, how come no one talks about the Page Act, right, of 1875? Or the Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882, right? Or the Immigration Act of 1917 to 1924? No one. Let's talk about number 934 temporary detention center for Japanese Americans at the Fresno Assembly Center, a place we call the Fresno Fairgrounds. Over 5,000 Japanese Americans came from the Central Valley, were forced to locate to. No one talks about it. But my parents came to the United States as refugees of the secret war, to not be hunted down, to survive. This mass migration came from the secret war of Laos, which began in 1964 and lasted until 1975. A war our families did not commence, but had to play an active part in it. So my relationship with American history is suppressed. The CIA conducted a secret war in Laos that relied on Hmong soldiers, many of them in their teens. All this to prevent the threat of communism from spreading further into Southeast Asia. Tens of thousands died, both in the fighting and in the escape. A war that gave Laos the title of the most bombed country in the world to this day. No one talks about it. My relationship with American history comes from war, from covert operations, from passed down war trauma, trauma that lingers through the future generation of those who escaped it. So I have to be good. I have to be a model minority, a myth. Good enough to continue forward. My relationship with American history is forced. Like everything else in my life is. Forced, covert, unspoken. But here I am. Here we are. Making it happen in this life. So you ask me what my relationship with American history is, and I tell you, it is suppressed. Thank you. Who's next?
Are you okay?
Yeah, man, you good?
Yeah, you all right?
I think I'm better than ever.
For you.
All right, well then, I'll go. The assignment was a presentation on your relationship with America and blah, 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 blah. You know, in an effort to get us all excited about the nuances of the Industrial Revolution. Well, I could memorize the facts as presented, you know, dates and times of significant American events that triggered some kind of change and transformation in the world, you know? I'm more concerned about my current relationship with America. The America that I'm living through right now. The America that has done nothing to prevent another church bombing, another church shooting, another Tulsa race massacre. You know, whenever we display even the tiniest bit of freedom and the tiniest bit of happiness, and we're just confronted with the reality in this American project right here, that all that happiness is temporary. How about the American cops killing unarmed black people? Yeah? How about the Americans that have killed Trayvon Martin? You know, Mike Brown, you know, Oscar Grant, Sandra Bland, Eric Garner, Breonna Taylor, Philando Castile, George Floyd, you know, we say their names.
Yep.
But I don't want to exploit no trauma today. Nah. I don't. Well, you know, because Black Lives Matter, they took all my money and decided to get rich, huh? Yeah. Another suffocation by capitalism. But my relationship with America is me trying to avoid being part of the trauma in the form of a statistic, a loss, a death. Because that's what I am right now, a statistic. You know, that's what the white supremacy sees me as, you know. They have trained their cops to see me as that, to the point where my existence is radical. By simply existing and surviving and navigating through this system of anti-blackness, I'm protesting. Protesting the fact that our literacy scores continue to go lower and our incarceration rates continue to go higher. Protesting the fact that we account for 40% of the incarceration rate. And we only represent 13% of this country's population. Yeah, I'm protesting. No? So let's talk about it. You go.
Hello, people. Hello, friends. We sit on the stolen lands of the Yokuts and Mono people, a land acquired by the means of genocide. My journey was not like anyone else's, but at the same time, it is exactly like all those who came before me. Knowledge is power, and there are things that need to be brought to light. Between 1819 and 1969, the United States operated 408 boarding schools across 37 states. These boarding schools targeted the American Indian, the Alaska Native, and Native Hawaiian children in pursuit of a policy of cultural assimilation and Indian land dispossession. See, the goals of this program targeted these people. They targeted Alaska Native villages, they targeted Native American tribes, and they also targeted Hawaiian children in an effort of cultural assimilation. So, in these boarding schools, It's part of a report. And part of this investigative report was the future protection of burial sites and potential repatriation or disinterment of remains under federal law. In these boarding schools, students endured rampant physical, sexual, and mental abuse. See, the report flagging more than 500 Native American children, a number that is expected to increase as the investigation continues. Yeah. These schools were ran by the so-called churches, the so-called sanctuary. So, it shouldn't surprise you why we as Native people resent Christianity. My relationship with America carries a history of weight that is often shoved into the dark. The history of abuse for power has been untethered for far too long. See, in the 1970s, the Indian Health Clinic would sterilize Native women without their knowledge. And, the reason behind all of this is because the doctors thought they were doing a good thing. They thought that Native American women were too stupid to use birth control. That was what the reason was. So it is important that we emphasize that a lot of the shit going on did not just happen 100 years ago or happen in the past. There's a lot of stuff that is happening now in present day. In a history where we have been disproportionately affected in plain disregard for our existence, now we suffer from disproportionate cases in missing and murdered indigenous women. See, and when I said genocide earlier, I mean it. Genocide. The government does not acknowledge it, despite the genocide and not aligning with the steps drawn out by the UN. We have a genocide monument at Fresno State, and the Native Americans aren't even acknowledged there. So my relationship with America is abusive. I am in an abusive relationship with America. You go.
My relationship with American history is new and old, existing before I did, one of mass migration and detention centers, of threatening legislature and need. My relationship with American history is a transient one. My father crossed the border from Mexico to the US 100 times in the 80s. Legally, illegally, or whatever felt right at the time for this country. When they needed cheap work, and they needed someone to blame, he was here. In the 50s, my grandpa was here. When cheap labor was needed, he crossed the border and worked here. We always went back. For some reason, I'm here. For an education, for knowledge, for opportunities. Is this the only country that offers opportunities to people? What dream was sold to my parents to have them uproot their lives and travel here? A world where the language is foreign, the neighbors are not neighborly. Mm-hmm. The sliver of a dream is what they hold on to. The American dream. The year is 2024, marking our country's 60th quadrennial election. Another marker of time passing. In my short time on this planet, one image that is ingrained in my mind is this scar cutting across the border of Mexico and the United States, a jarring symbol of hatred and prejudice. I think about how we were called rapists and killers. I think about how the American dream is so limited to whoever is in charge. The American dream changes every 4 years. Which iteration will we receive? If you're not a white American, it's like you're holding your breath during the election. You're waiting to see if you find a spot to come up for air. You chance it out. You swim back up, swim up the pool, hoping there's a lifeguard. In the 50s, my grandfather came to the U.S. as a field worker. He came through the Bracero program, a U.S. government-sponsored program that brought millions of Mexican farm and railroad workers into the U.S. to fill the agriculture worker shortage during World War II. I guess we aren't so scary when we're needed. My father joined quickly after, and they both worked the fields of the Central Valley for years, decades. They were amongst the group of workers that were suffering the terrible working condition faced by the campesinos. But in the face of oppression, our community rose up to the occasion. In 1965, the United Farm Workers formed, and with it came El Teatro Campesino.
Yep.
An activist theater group that informed the campesinos of their rights, informed them of what they were fighting for. Art cut through the political lines and separation, and a clear voice was given to the people.
Hell yeah.
Catalyst was a tragic one, but the action is an immediate one. We show up and continue to show up to demand a world in which we are respected, in which we are valued, in which we live. Like the 1969 protests at UC Berkeley for American Indian Studies, the Alcatraz occupation, and the Wounded Knee occupation. We demand a world where we can live peacefully.
So when I'm asked about my relationship with America, it's a work in progress. But I know something that is clear.
Is that my relationship with my community is growing. It's important, and it's what is going to change this world.
As long as we're a community, we can stand against the corruption of this political system.
Change is radical. Change is in the hands of the people, not these gatekeeping politicians that are satisfied with keeping us down.
And remember, it's power to the people. Lift your voice and don't stay quiet.
Lift your voice, 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 don't stay quiet. Lift your voice, don't stay quiet. Lift your voice, don't stay quiet. Lift your voice,
Don't stay quiet. Lift your voice, don't stay quiet. Lift your voice, don't stay quiet. Lift your voice, don't stay quiet.
Lift your voice.
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 Don't stay quiet.
I said lift your voice.
Don't stay quiet.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. That was quite fun. So right now, we're actually going to open it up for the audience as far as some participation. If you had any reflections, we're at the end. We're at the end, by the way. But if you had any questions, this is more of like a Q&A, reflections, or anything from your experience tonight, the pieces, anything at all, we just love to give you a moment to express yourselves or anything that touched you tonight. So don't jump all up at once. Sorry.
You left down children without parents.
Mm.
And I loved it. It was beautiful. Speaking as a Native man, there rose through your front, and subject was far too close to my heart. And I'm proud to hear that this nation is starting to move forward with its people and its color. We don't see color, never have. And I know the forefathers would be happy to see that our race is still thriving and have more brothers and sisters endure that way. But it never been a hope.
I hope. Thank you.
I just wanted to commend every single artist that's here right now, everyone that's in this room, and each one of your voices. Because this is what theater is supposed to be. It is supposed to be for the community. It is supposed to heal. It is supposed to show us who we are supposed to be and how we become better as a society. And I know that every single person in this room has been impacted. I know that every single person in this room feels the energy, because that's what brings us together as one. And everyone knows this, but sometimes we need to be reminded by this. And this is why this work is so important. And I just want to say thank you to each of you, but everyone in this room, because the sad part about theater and acting is the system doesn't make it for everyone. There are kids with big dreams, like each one of these people here, and each person in here, that have huge dreams to go somewhere and to know that their voice is valued. And as artists, that's our superpower. That's what we're supposed to give, a voice for the voiceless. And I'm just truly touched and grateful and honored to be in this room with each of you right now. And each of you should feel the energy.
Yeah.
Feel the love. Don't be critical of yourself. Don't be critical of how you said any of the lines. Because you could go across the United States. You could go to New York. You could go to Chicago. You could go to Los Angeles. And it's just more and more people telling you how to code switch. Telling you how to deliver a line. But the truth is, it's just this.
Yeah.
It's just family, la familia. This is beauty, and beauty is pain. And I just feel so grateful to be with each of you right now. And what has been done in this room, where we can have a conversation, where we can hug, where we can show our support. So just beautiful, everyone. I just wanted to say that. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
I just want to apologize on behalf of the community, because man, there should be a lot more people in here. Like a lot more. Like you guys should be on a way bigger stage. No disrespect to the place, but it's like this is something that everyone should be hearing right now. I don't know how you guys advertise it, but I am willing to help any way I can. This was amazing, and thank you for teaching me so much about everybody else's community and race. So thank you.
Thank you.
To me, it's the common thread across the different groups. First of all, I just love the fact that you are together on this stage. You can see the diversity in this room, the support and love that you have there. But it's your voices, and I love how you brought your own personal stories from the identities that you come from into a script to make it living art. And that common thread, the fact that we have more in common than we do different, is what's going to be able to allow us to make America what we want it to be. So I just really appreciate you all coming together, spending the time with each other to not only get to know yourself, but to get to know each other and each other's cultures, and then share that with all of us to teach us that we are one. We may be different, but we are one, and we have common stories. We need to look for that commonality, not just see the difference.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Anybody else? Yes.
Do you plan to do this other places?
Yeah, this is intended to be the first of possible many. Yeah, we have. So we will see where the work takes us. So yeah.
I just wanted to kind of add to that. This is actually my first time in a
Yeah.
play, so I'm a slam poet. Well, so I started off as a hip hop artist. I was 13 years old, and the main thing I got into was like a lot of like rap battles and stuff. And I started making music, and I didn't even know we had a slam community in the Central Valley. I was 23 years old when I found out, like 2 years ago. So it's just like I've been a slam poet. I've been doing these hip hop performances for a long time. So they're like, well, we don't have any native artists. So I'm like, well, where are they at? Yeah. And then I'm just like, okay, well, if I have to be the person that opens the door, then I'm going to do it. And so luckily, it wasn't too much of a shock for me because in slam poetry, you're incorporating a lot of movements. You're telling a story every time you spit something on that stage. So it was just an easy transition, and it was even easier because I had these guys who were way more experienced than I am, who were able to kind of like help me and make me feel part of the group too. And so this was like the first, and hopefully maybe this will be the first of many. But if we do it again, I'll do it again. You know?
Oh yeah. And so just a reminder for. Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Just gotta say one thing, plus of the Matri, grace to your spark and fire from our indigenous Nahuatl community, Central Mexico. As an undocumented immigrant, I actually appreciate y'all respect it and actually empowering to voice, to be one. Because we do code switch many times. I mean, many times even when I was as a farm worker, being given a Fulbright scholarship, you had to prove into a good college. You had to prove that you were worthy because people ask, what gang do you belong to? What kind of weed or drugs do you do? Because what kind of crimes do you do? You know, you always have to justify yourself. Even here as farm workers, we still don't get that appreciation. We're still discriminated. We're targeted. I mean, look at the DUI supposedly checkpoints. This current mayor, then police chief, making money out of undocumented people. And the thing is, they always say, well, they tend to be the ones who create the most crime. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. And uplifting our voice. So that's what I have.
Yeah, I just want to congratulate you and thank you. I had the privilege to witness this work in progress. And when they started the program, they didn't know each other, but then there was a space for them to tell stories, and he was a lot of baby working day and weekend. So thank you, and I'm so happy that we got to this point because there were moments like I don't want to do it, I don't want to do it because it's hard. Yeah, but it was a lot of effort. So thank you, Josh, for everything that you did. I know that you created, you acted, you for us and so much, and Shane and Natalie. Thank you, and she's talking. Gina, everybody, thank you for making this happen.
Yes, thank you.
And I've been, I don't know why you're not, but I just want to tell you that the diversity is beautiful. And now you assign me to think about what is my relationship.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a long story.
Thank you, thank you.
This was a little more of a question. The first part said that Coach Belfort was to write the script, also the previous performers going to add in their own stories. I was curious about like what was just kind of the overall balance of it, like how much did he kind of like build his foundation, how much did you add in? The second part, if you like, I hope they do continue like performing this elsewhere, would the script say mostly a little bit similar, or would it be a little more kind of live and change with whoever performance you have at the time?
I'll answer the second question. I'll let these guys answer the first one. But as far as performing it again, it will change. It'll be there. It won't just be 4 people. It won't just be 4 men. Like it'll definitely change and be a lot more, not only diverse and inclusive, but a lot like preferably longer. It is a lot, but it is something that Rodolfo and myself did have the intention of like, this was kind of just like the stepping point for growing something, but there's 4 of us in the cohort, so we have 4 different testimonies. But as far as a larger piece and like as it grows and develops, there's going to be a lot more added to it. So yeah. But as far as your stories, I don't know if you all want to answer that.
So it was just like how much of our story is in there? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was really interesting because when they first came at us with the script, they wanted to go for like the Native perspective. And so, like, not that the writer did a bad job or anything, but I felt like there was like a lot more needed with Native history because Native American history tends to be something that's always like left in the dark, and a lot of people, even in the educational field, don't really understand that. I've been to equity labs where I've taught them about Native American history, and they're like shocked when I tell them we didn't have religious freedom until 1978. That shocks them, and they didn't know that. So like when we sat down, I gave them my feedback, and I'm like, well, there's a lot of events that like need to be added, like the religion, the sterilization of Native American women in the 1970s. You know, that needs to be talked about because I like bringing up things that happened in the past, but a lot of people like to argue and say that was 100 years ago. Get over it. And I'm like, well, there's a lot of stuff that still happened because when people realize it's so close to home, it really brings them into perspective that this stuff is still going on. Canada didn't close their last boarding school until 1996. So I was born in 1998, so that's like almost like within my lifetime. And so it's like I want him to emphasize that a lot of the things that Native people experience in our trauma still affect us today, but people want to deny that. You know, and I may have not gone through a boarding school, or I may not have been displaced, but with my grandparents who did, that's the reason why I didn't get to grow up with my culture. I was 20 years old when I reconnected to my tribe. I'm 25 now. So for the first 20 years of my life, I didn't have any sense of culture, and it did a lot of damage to me because I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere, and I was very angry and resentful, but I didn't know why I was angry and resentful. So it's like I really wanted them to emphasize that culture is the lack of identity causes a lot of things like addiction. That's why we have a lot of alcoholism in our community, opioid abuse, all of these things, because a lot of us don't know where we are, where we came from, and we don't have a lot of support. We're trying to grow that support now. So when I sat down, I told them all these things, and I'm like, this needs to be said because these are a lot of topics that is not in the mainstream, including missing murdered Indigenous women. So I was really happy when I got this revised script, and it had all of the things that I was talking about. So he really listened to me, and he really heard what I had to say, and he put it in there. So that's my answer.
For me, Rodolfo Robles Cruz, who wrote this play, every time I read one of his plays, I'm like, dang, how do you know? You know, he the way he writes the Mexican American experience is so honest, it's so true and relatable that I felt like I don't have to do much to change things. Like the line about, you know, working to death. My dad, like he wasn't a strawberry. He didn't fill strawberry juice, but he passed away working as a welder. That's what he was doing before he passed away. So I relate to that. I relate to like sports was my way up and out. For me, it wasn't sports. It was theater. It was acting. It was the arts. So it's like I felt like, dang, I just want to honor his words and there's really nothing much like that I can add except my connection to my life and my own past relationship with America and my family.
Oh, it's my turn?
Yeah.
So I actually came in, I guess, a little bit later than everybody. I was kind of just asked to, as one of the Asian American actors here, Gina reached out to me. She was like, hey, are you interested in this? I also study Asian American studies. And so when Gina was explaining this to me, I was like, this is an amazing opportunity. So when I got the script, I read it over, I was like, this is great. You know, I came in and we did a read through and I was like, this is amazing. Then Josh kind of gave me the go ahead to say, hey, you know, you can add things in if you want, you know, to make it, you know, more flourished, right? And I was like, okay, amazing. So as someone who studies Asian American studies, because Asian American studies is so broad, I was like, okay, this is my opportunity to kind of, you know, give things that aren't voiced as much, give them voice. And so a lot of things that I put in, a couple of them are, you know, my own story. I am Hmong, and so my parents, they have their experiences and stuff like that too. But I did want to add, as an Asian American, you know, we experience a lot of things as well, and I just want to give a voice to the community as much as we can. So.
I'll add a quick tidbit. I just, for myself, I like when Rodolfo was writing, I kind of wrote my own part, but I kind of minimized it because I knew I was going to have to end up directing, and I was like, well, I don't want to be like minimizing myself, so I added quite a bit more to kind of have a little bit more of background, but I didn't want to like talk about. There's a very popular idea of when you talk about African American history that you want to go back and talk about civil rights era, slavery, a lot of different things that become almost like, I don't want to say become watered down because they are important, but they become very addictive talking points. And I wanted to be sure that the current American relationship that's happening right now is still having an effect on our culture. And so I kind of struggled because I'm like, there's so much I want to talk about, but I ended up holding myself back with that. And we are currently a little bit over time. So just want to go ahead and say thank you for everybody for showing up, and thank you for being a part of this experience with us. Again, we do have the like goodie bags and things back there, so if you want to go ahead and spin the wheel, you can get that, as well as remember to just ice cream. Oh, we got ice cream. We got ice cream. So get some ice cream on your way out. Over from Ampersand's, they were able to donate some for us, and so yeah, we got some ice cream. So thank you all for coming.
Right.